Are you coming to Ford Fair at Silverstone on August the 11th? If so, one car you definitely want to look out for is this Mustang GT4 race car. And today I'm joined with Matt at Academy Motorsport, who look after these cars and build them, and we're going to have a look at what makes them so special. So come on, let's go find out how this race car differs from the road car. So Matt, this is the new S650 Mustang, obviously new for this year. So tell us about how you built the car.
So actually Multimatic build the car along with Ford Performance.
Yep.
We get supplied the car. Actually, these were the first cars out of the States. So obviously this model actually isn't in the UK
so
or
you
Europe.
haven't seen a road car yet?
No, so we're the first people outside of the US to be able to get them. And obviously we're partnered with Ford Performance and with Multimatic. So we are running these cars in British and European GT4 this year.
Awesome.
So yeah, very exciting year. And yeah, I'll show you around.
Yeah, cool. Let's have a little look. So first of all, let's pop the bonnet and see what the business is all about underneath here. So is this carbon fibre?
No, this is a natural fibre composite, otherwise known as hemp. But basically the reason for going this is because it's part of eco programs that they want to try and introduce because it's a little bit more eco-friendly than
low carbon fibre.
Yeah. Basically. Cool. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain actually. We prefer carbon.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything you see here that would normally be carbon. So this here, the splitter, the roof, the tailgate, is actually all made out of the same stuff.
Still lighter than steel though, obviously.
It's lighter, but it's part of the rules and regulations. So anything that's changed its material that it's been manufactured in away from standard has to be in this rather than in carbon. So yeah, so if you had a component that originally was carbon, you could stay with carbon. Right. So some of the other manufacturers maybe
you're changing, you have to go to this.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So
let's have a look. Obviously under here we can see is that still technically Coyote V8?
It is, yeah. It's a Ford Performance built engine. A few subtleties to it. It's a dry sump engine as well.
Yeah.
Obviously substantially upgraded wire loom and associated
You
parts.
can't see them over there, but I can see some big headers on there as well.
Oh yeah. Basically, it's just built for strength, not outright power. We're actually limited. We have a thing called balance of performance for the championships that we race within. So that is a combination of weight, power and ride height, so they limit how fast you are power-wise.
All three of those to
give
everyone level playing.
That way, every weekend, because obviously different circuits have different nuances and things like that. Yeah. So you might go to one circuit where a Lotus will be a lot quicker, or a power circuit's good for us, so that's their way of balancing it all out. So it's an equal, level playing field for all the different manufacturers to play with. So yeah, this is how we run. And they'll give us a different restrictor or a different ride height or a different weight or any of those factors really.
You say restrictor, obviously this is still naturally aspirated, so you just still have a throttle body restrictor?
Yeah, we've got two of them. Those two little restrictors there, little pea shooters to try and restrain us a little bit.
What does that strangle it down to then? So what's the power on these?
It varies, anywhere sort of mid 400s up. Up to sort of mid 500s if you want, but it will vary from circuit to circuit. Some circuits will suit us better, some won't. If we go to somewhere that's a bit more technical, perhaps, where the smaller cars have got slight advantage, then maybe we'll have a benefit in a different way, maybe more power. Yeah, I think it starts life as a dark horse motor, and they just make a few subtle changes. Cool. Really, it's nothing substantial.
So it's still very production based then. It's not a bespoke casting or anything like that.
The production motor in these, in particular, the dark horse, is fundamentally a very capable engine, and that's why they can make large modifications like we do with our track cars and things like that.
We do a track car in particular, that's running like 50% more power than this, and that's not been opened. So.
No, exactly. So these things are built for a purpose, which is to be reliable, and basically go out and do the job because, as you alluded to before, first you've got to finish. So for us, we need something strong. For us, we've run a lot of different manufacturers over the last 20 years. These things are the most robust pieces of kit that we've ever come across. So the partnership that we've got going with Ford Performance is fantastic, and we love these things. And there's not an awful lot of standard components left, but fundamentally the bits that are strong.
Like you can see there's header tank, still a plastic factory header tank. It's not being changed for the sake of changing. It's there. But then obviously the mods that you have done. Massive great oil tank, massive great radiators. They're designed to keep the performance over the. I mean, how long do you race for? You say sort of 3 hours at a time, whatever it is. It's going to put a lot of stresses and strains on the car.
So. For British and European, the longest we do is a 3 hour. Some of the other events might be a 24-hour race, but they're built to do a job. So effectively, anything that can fail is upgraded and dealt with. So all of your cooling is all substantially upgraded from away from a road car. As I say, a few subtleties with the motor. And
it's old school engineering with the motor, don't it? It's literally air in, air out. There's no, obviously there is fancy trickery in the ECU would have been redone, but it's fundamentally air in, air out, as much as you can with the restrictor.
It's probably the least road car, GT4 car you could get in that respect. So although it looks Mustang,
like a Mustang,
there's a lot going on.
It isn't. Yeah. That leads me quite nicely onto under ear actually, because this is quite, bar from the Ford stickers, which I've noticed on things like your track rod ends and your sort of like some of your suspension bushes and stuff. Is that an original Mustang hub?
Yes, that's original. There are a few little modifications, but nothing too crazy.
Tied up, but that isn't Mustang.
No, that's definitely not Mustang.
That definitely isn't Mustang.
No.
And all these air jacks definitely aren't Mustang.
So all the suspension is Multimatic DSSV. Yeah. So that is about as fancy as you can get for these. Seriously strong, seriously good.
Four-way remote canister?
Two-ways, bump and rebound, yeah. So you're limited on that. And we have a set spring range that we're allowed to work within.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of work has gone into that.
Yeah.
And you can see things like the obviously the air jacks, strengthening of the shell. The nice thing about these components is that actually they're more than capable of taking care for what we do.
I was about to say, so why do you retain these? Obviously, that's a standard track rod end, steering arm, whatever else for a Mustang. So it's but that puts up with the abuse.
There's no need to change it.
And I suppose if you do need another one, you're not spending money unnecessarily on rod ends and whatever else.
It's a very usable race car. So at the end of the day, if it has a little bit of a knock here or there, it's one, it's very strong, and two, it's very economical to repair.
Production base again, as well, don't it? There's more production stuff in there.
Yeah.
So is it the same story at the back end then? Are we still running the similar sort of stuff under the back?
Yeah, I mean, suspension-wise, everything's changed. You've got different lower arms.
So that's not a Mustang. That's different.
Yeah, no, that they are very nice.
They all billet.
I mean, yeah.
Billet aluminium. Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, some serious work going on back there. This new model is very, very good on its brakes, which the old model was a little bit more savage in terms of its brake usage. This car is absolutely fantastic. So we've
is it the same weight as well? I'm assuming there's a base where they have to be similar or the same.
Very, very similar. I believe this is slightly lighter.
Right.
But
saw your Hemp.
yeah. But there are a few subtle differences. Obviously, I'm going on to the rear end. You say about the rear wing.
It's a different style, isn't it?
Well, the old car, the wing was actually attached to the tailgate. So when you lifted the tailgate, the wing would go with it.
Oh, is this directly onto the cage and stuff inside
This goes through. Right. It's actually it's attached to the shell rather than to the tailgate.
Oh, so does this tailgate come out this way?
That comes out.
Oh, cool.
So that's all Hemp.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of these other parts, I mean, it's production stuff. So at the end of the day, you've got something that's strong enough in the first place, but also it's not expensive if it gets a little knock. You know, you're not buying a Mercedes or a McLaren or an Aston Martin rear bumper.
So it's made in carbon in the first place or whatever, then
yeah.
Obviously, you've got your quick fill at the back here. It's a tank in the back.
Tanks in the back, yeah. I can show you that if you want. It's dead easy. Cool. It's
obviously, I'm assuming that's central for weight balance and everything else.
Yeah. So you've got a 100-litre tank there.
How many laps does that do?
Not enough. She likes fuel. Now, to be fair, it's not too desperate on fuel. It's no worse than anything else out there.
So that's the funny thing, because that is a consideration in endurance racing, isn't it? Is how much, because obviously you lose time in the pits.
Yeah.
And it's if you can do a longer stint.
Yeah, it gives you a bit of flexibility for strategy then. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the thing was built very much with endurance racing in mind. So it is something that we can use for pretty much anything we want to go and race it in. Yeah, it's they're dead easy to drive. I mean, Eric will show you the internal parts of it, and that's actually a bit more complicated. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, to use as a piece of kit, they are very, very strong, very capable. Yeah. It's obviously a brand new car, so we're all, finding our feet with it. A few subtleties from the old car to the new car.
Do you think they've got the potential to be faster than the last year's car?
Absolutely. Yeah, they will be. They will be. And at the moment, I think currently we are actually on a par or quicker than we were.
Oh, really? Already? And it's 2 meetings or 3 meetings?
Yeah, we've done 2 British rounds and 1 European. Yeah. We've had a few little things here and there to work our way through.
Put some context. What sort of lap times are you doing around Silverstone? Well, no, it's wet, so it's last week out.
I can't even remember. Couldn't tell you. I can't remember, but Eric will be able to tell you in a minute, I'm sure. But I forget stuff like that way too quickly. but yeah, not quick enough.
Well, should we grab Eric and have a look inside? There's a load more fancy stuff actually inside as well, not least of which the cage. So before we go and grab Eric then to talk us through all the controls and stuff, let's have a look at some of this fancy electronics and stuff in here then, Matt. So what are all these bits about? So you've got Motec down here, I'm assuming that's ECUs or PDMs, is that power distribution module?
That's exactly what it is, yeah. So the front here you've got your Bosch ABS system, so you've got fully adjustable ABS and TC. You've got your Motec PDMs.
Yeah.
You've got a championship logger here, which will monitor all the other systems. And
so that one there?
Yeah, and your performance. So effectively that will read things like acceleration, braking, cornering, and all that sort of good stuff, which is again linked to our balance and performance.
Yeah.
Which then leads you onto this box here, which is this ugly thing where you keep a load of lead in it, where they tell you you're going to slow you down a little bit and put some in it. And here you've got your battery.
That's the championship ballast, so that's how it comes, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not sealed at the moment, as you can see, but they would give us a base weight or a minimum weight to work to, and then we have to obviously keep above that.
Yeah.
So we will get as close as we can. We'll normally be within a couple of kilos.
And put that in.
Yeah, so effectively we want to run as light as we possibly can, because obviously we don't want to be carrying around extra.
I'm assuming all cars have to have that in the same place and stuff as well, then, do they?
Very similar, but they all have to have a provision for putting ballast in the car, but it'll be in different places and different vehicles. But for us it works absolutely perfect there. Here you've got your extinguisher systems.
Yeah.
Again, you've got systems
obviously fully plumbed in everywhere, is it?
Yeah. You just push a button and spend 600 quid on an extinguisher for a split second, and hopefully you never need it. But so beyond that, race battery tucked away under here.
Okay,
obviously you've got your air jack systems, which are plumbed in all four corners. This is your pneumatic air to do with the gear change, basically.
Okay,
so
for the paddle shift?
This is what runs your paddle shift.
Cool.
Yeah. So pretty straightforward, really. It's just like pulling a trigger.
Yeah, and that's the compressor for it. So you don't carry obviously a massive canister of air around with you. No. God knows how many times you must change gear in a 3-hour session.
No. Luckily you've got a V8 soundtrack to cover it up. You don't hear the thing, but it just gently whirs away there like a little, like as any compressor would, just in the background, really. Here you've got your pit-to-car radio.
Okay.
So you can shout at the driver, or the driver can shout at us, or whatever they want to do. Up here you've got all the basically your jacks for plugging in for ECUs.
They're all labelled up to these, so they connect directly to these, do they?
Yeah, so we can stand in the pit lane and we can plug it in from a distance and download immediately, see what's gone on in the session, or get live readings.
And that's for ABS, the Motec one, the PDM, and then the actual there's an ECU one, which obviously is for your engine ECU, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the whole lot. So I mean, people are definitely watching.
Cameras on there as well. Are they for the footage for the race series, are they?
So no, so basically you've got a Motec camera system here, which is linked in with your Motec PDMs and all the rest of it. So this is all running all the time.
Yeah.
Then we have an additional camera system, which we use for this as a V-box system.
Yeah.
One facing dash, one facing out the front, so we can see.
Oh, yeah, there's one behind you as well.
Yeah. So we can use this for driver development, driver training, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Also as a backup, if for any reason we have one fail, we've got a fail safe.
Yeah.
We have to have that as part of the championship rules and regs as well, in order to provide evidence if you've been a bit naughty. Or if someone else has.
It's not just for TV reasons and stuff, then?
No, none of this is for telly.
The clerk of the course can go,
no.
I saw you turn left then when you should have been turning right.
Basically, there's no hiding. But actually, if they want to put TV ones in, they'll put in additional ones as well.
Right, okay, so they go on as well as these.
Yeah, so you end up with 1,000 aerials on the roof.
Obviously, one thing we're leaning on is comprehensive roll cage. You said that was done by Multimatic. Is that all to GT3 spec, did you say?
The whole car is built and developed by Multimatic with Ford Performance, but this cage is actually a GT3 spec cage.
Right.
So hence why it has a roof hatch. So you can, if you ever, God forbid you ever need it, you can be extracted.
Get a driver out.
Yeah. And then behind the driver's seat here we have a cool shirt system, or a Chillout system we should call it, which we just installed. They're fantastic. Eric will show you how that one plugs in and the control for it. But I mean, it's very bare. All right, there's a lot going on here because you can see it all, nothing's hidden. But in reality, it's fairly basic.
Well, like all race cars, this is where you really do notice the difference between this and a road car.
Oh, yeah. There's a hell of a lot of work goes into making sure you've got what
I've
you
just
need.
noticed as well, the steering column, that's obviously all unique as well. And that's in a different position. Obviously, we can see it's a completely different angle, but that's all built bespoke to this car as well, is it?
Yeah, the ergonomics of this car in comparison to the 550 that we used to run, the previous generation GT4 car, are night and day different.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes down to controls, everything's a lot closer to you. Totally different steering wheel.
Yeah.
Totally
it's like
different
a Formula
dash.
One steering wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, and then obviously you've got your different systems up here to do the championship and GPS system. So effectively, it'll tell you when there's going to be a full course yellow or a red flag or a yellow flag or something along those lines. And it's just basically just a bit of, stripped out race car.
Awesome.
But yeah, you've got so many different subtle differences from the previous generation car, which add up to a huge improvement actually.
Yeah. Well, if we go grab Eric, he can talk us through some of all these buttons and switches and stuff and see what that does, shall we?
Yeah, you can get him to show you all the boxes and tricks and all the rest of it.
There's a lot over there.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot to think about as a driver, that's for sure. But how you utilise all those systems makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'll bet. So now we're going to have a look around the inside of the car, and to show us round, I've found last year's GT4 champion, Eric Evans, who actually won the championship in the previous S550 car. So Eric, let's have a little look in here then, see how this differs from a road car, and show us what goes on inside one of these race cars.
Yeah, so obviously it's a lot more stripped out than your car at home. A lot more different things, a lot more buttons going on. These are just all usually they're aids for us drivers, help us out a lot in different ways. I'm just going to pop the steering wheel off and we can go through it real quick. So
it's like a Formula One steering wheel. So many buttons on there.
Yeah, last year's car we had the round steering wheel with minimal buttons, but they've gone full Formula One mode on us, and they've put everything on the steering wheel. It just makes it easier for us drivers to get at it, so we don't have to look down in the center console and take our eyes off the road. But it looks very daunting, very complicated. It's actually not that bad. So we just have the normal things. We have the flash button. Basically what it does is it flashes the headlights, basically tells whoever's in front of you to get the heck out of your way. Obviously the radio button, this button right here, quite in a dangerous spot, actually starts the car. Hopefully, if you have like a snap or whatever, you don't accidentally hit it. It's actually pretty good about that though. But I actually don't know what the OK button does. I've never pressed it. No one's ever told me what it does. Guess it's not really that important. And then we have the fuel reset button. So basically, as we're driving, going through the race, it will tell us our fuel numbers and whatever. And when we refuel the car, we'll just reset it, get on our way, so we know we're not using the same data from the last fuel tank that we used, especially in these longer 3-hour races. Yeah. The next one we have here is the reverse button. So what you have to do is you have to put the car in the neutral, press that button, and that will get into reverse, because there's not a whole lot of time you're actually going in reverse in a race car unless
it's not done on the shifts on reverse.
You could do it that way, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. So that 100% locks it in.
Puts it in reverse.
Yeah. And then up here, this is where it starts getting very technical with the driver's side of things. Yeah. We have two traction control systems, two different types of traction control systems. We have the latitudinal and the longitudinal. So obviously, it determines which way the wheel is slipping, and we have, I believe it's 11 different settings on each traction control system, depending on how much wheel spin we want, how much side-to-side moving we want from the traction control system. Generally, we run it pretty low. We like to do everything with our feet and our hands instead of really relying on the computer, because what it does is it cuts the power, and obviously you want as much power as possible. So we generally run it.
Turn it on when it gets wet.
Yeah. Basically, when it gets wet, we'll move it up. If the tires are wearing and you want to conserve them, we'll also move it up. But on a quality,
think about it, obviously from a strategy point of view, you've got to look after your tires, and if you're spinning the wheels every time you come out of a corner, it's going to
exactly. So during the race, we'll maybe have it like between 4 and 5 or whatever. But on a quality lap, you'll have it on 2 full sends. This is where it really gets technical down here. I'll just power on the car. Basically, we have all these different settings that we can change with this one dial. As you can see, we have all the traction control systems, the ABS settings, all this information coming at us at all times. So what we do is, we have all these different things. So if I go to this one, I can change the target lap time. We have different diagnostics pages for the mechanics and all the information that you'll ever need while going through the car. We have, ABS system control. If we have an alarm that comes up in the car, we can figure out what alarm it is and if it's something that we actually need to.
You can do all this through the steering wheel?
All through the steering wheel. It's remarkable. We can change the mapping of the throttle, how linear or how more up and down it is. So, and you can change that. As you can see, the throttle is on force. That means we're on more of an aggressive throttle. If we go plus, we go 5, 6. You use these plus and minus buttons to change the settings. And so now we'll go to a way more linear, less sensitive pedal.
Yeah. So that changes the throttle sensitivity and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's literally all the entire button does is it changes how sensitive the throttle is. Awesome. So that comes down to driver preference. Like for instance, I like the pedal more like a light switch where I can feel it with my foot, or some driver might like it a lot more linear. Like he can just hit the gas and the car will slowly more.
Do you change that depending on conditions and stuff as well?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, in the wet you dumb it down a bit so it's not quite so snappy.
Yeah. So in the wet, I've run it as high as about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Generally, on a full quality lap, I'll be at like 3, 4. A 1 is like literally like an on-off switch. As much as that would be cool, just to smash it and get everything at once, it's not very good.
It's not the way to the fastest lap.
No. We have the neutral button, and then this is a really cool piece of kit for safety. It's the full course yellow button. So basically, if there's a big crash on the track and they need to get help out there immediately, they'll call full course yellow. What that does is you press it and it limits all the cars to 80 kilometers an hour so that safety crews can then enter the track as quick as possible. It's a really good thing from a driver standpoint. We can get other drivers help. Really good safety thing because that is one of the #1 priorities in a sport as dangerous as this. And then, of course, the one that everyone knows from all the video games and everything, the pit limiter when you come in the pit. Don't want to be caught speeding. I did that the last weekend, and you pay the price for it. And then the funniest thing is if you look at the back, we have 2 buttons here. Believe it or not, those are the turn signals.
Oh, right.
So this race car does have turn signals. Basically, if in practice, if we're doing like a slow lap, we can just signal cars, press the turn signal. It will tell them which way you want them to pass.
So looking at the paddles, are they one up for one down, or was it backwards?
Yeah. So you push the right one to go up. It's magnetic. It's got a really nice feeling to it if you want to give it a try.
Oh, that's satisfying.
It is super satisfying. So you got the up on the right, down on the left. And that basically describes our amazing driver steering wheel here. It is really helpful for all of us.
Yeah, that's cool. You touched upon safety and stuff there. Obviously, we can see some other safety elements in here, like your window net or your safety net, your big cage and stuff like that. But one question then, how fast are you going in these?
So these things are not the fastest. Remember, these race cars are made for cornering. And this is the entry level to GT racing, GT4. So we'll only hit about 150 mile an hour down the straightaway.
Only 150.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't sound like the craziest number when you think about.
That's still shifting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still moving. Don't get me wrong, it is.
And that's
still
at
moving.
what tracks like Silverstone and.
At Silverstone, down the Hanger Straight, we'll hit about 145, 150 right before we hit the brakes.
Yeah.
And the thing about these cars, the big brakes, you can brake super late.
What do these weigh? Do we know? They're not.
I believe it's 1,450 kilos.
Cars,
no, this is still one of the heaviest cars on the grid. Yeah. 100%. Awesome. And then we also, if you want to come take a look at this, we have this center console area. There's a couple of things on there. Most of it is for mechanics and stuff, but we have lights where we have a button where you can dim all the steering wheel lights and the dash. We have the wiper buttons, the rain lights that we have to run when it's raining. The headlights, heated screen, we have a rain tire mode, and then some of the most important things we have over here is we have the ABS system control. We have 12 different settings on which we can run ABS, depending on how you want the car to brake, slow down, where do you want it to come in. So, on your road cars, you have ABS, and it's on
or off on it.
On and off, yeah. But in these things, we are right on the limit of the brakes and everything. So we have 12 different ways that we can have it interact with the brakes as we're coming in. Usually we kind of keep it on a lower mode just because, everything's quicker if you do it by yourself and don't have to have computer assistance, but the computer assistance is very nice. And then we have the brake bias, so we can adjust where the car is doing all the braking. Yeah. Move it, mostly it's towards the front And then we also have the rear, we can shift the weight, when it starts raining, you want it more at the rear.
Do you do that depending on how much fuel's on board and stuff as well? Do you change the for that or for the weight?
Not really. We usually get it dialed in for a dry session on the weekend. We kind of just leave it around there. And I mean, that pretty much describes what's going on there, other than we have this amazing chill-out system.
Matt mentioned that earlier on. That's the driver cooling aid, is that right?
Yeah. So basically, during a race, I think it will get up to about 55 degrees Celsius in here. It is a sauna.
It's warm.
It is warm. Race car, no AC.
And how long are you in for at a time? An hour?
An hour at a time. So as you can imagine, we're sitting in here getting a really good workout in 55 degrees Celsius. And on top of that, we're wearing suits, helmets, fireproofs, all that stuff. So, from a safety point of view, we need that as a driver. It will pump 1 to 2 degrees Celsius water around your body.
Like a vest you put on?
Yeah, so it's a shirt we put in. A hose will come out of our suit, and it will plug into this attachment right here.
Yeah.
And as soon as you go in, you get actually a little shiver for a second because you get that blast of 1 to 2 degree cold water, and then off you go. It helps you stay cool and alert while you're driving.
Awesome.
So basically, me and my teammate Marco, he's quite a tall guy. I am a little bit more on the shorter side, but I have all my length in my legs and a very short torso. So basically what happens is the seat is bolted down, doesn't move. So let's say we do a driver transition between me and Marco. I actually have a little booster pad that I have to put in because I have quite a short torso compared to Marco. But I'll put that in, I'll get in, and then, just like a normal road car, you pull the lever down, it moves up, down, and out, whatever you need to do. Yeah. It moves in, out, up and down, just like a normal road car. But the coolest bit of kit that we have in here, I think, is the fact that the pedals move back and forth. So when you get in the car, you pull this up, and you just move your heels, and the entire pedal assembly will move back and forth, and you can get right in the perfect spot.
So there you go. I think you'll agree that's a pretty impressive bit of kit there. Thanks to Eric and Matt for showing us round. And good luck for the rest of the season, Eric, in that car, because this one's not yours, that one is. Good luck for the rest of the season. And will we see you at Ford first of all? Yeah, you guys will see me there. I'll be looking forward to greeting you guys around, and I'll probably be giving some tours around the car to all you fans who decide to come out. Awesome. See you there.